We give you here.
You can behave yourself. Control yourself. Let us do this program and go.
Let's have a little bit of an interlude so you can pose and do whatever you want to do, and then we'll start.
Absolutely, my dear.
Sika educate, yeah, what Facebook, YouTube, and Insta. Sika educate, yeah, Casafa, Abumde, our real impunto. Sika educate, or don't come up, Rana, yeah, who are true. Sika educate, Unyani, baby, Sika educate. Ain't like you page, you know, I am vibe. But more than YouTube, ho, subscribe it. Sika educate is the name. All our man source and the campo. Inspiration, motivation. Wapomuden education. Wafranada, when it's here, or don't come or Ekusika deva. Wafranada, Bema, Jai, or don't come or Ekusika deva. Sika educate, yeah, what Facebook, YouTube, and Insta. Sika educate, yeah, Casafa, Abumde, our real impunto. Sika educate, or don't come up, Rana, yeah, who are true. Sika educate.
Good afternoon, good evening. I don't know where you guys are watching us from, but you're welcome to Sika Educates. Once again, I have an amazing sister here to help us deal with some of the issues that we've been facing this year from the whole COVID scenario. Nothing other than COVID, mental health issues, and abusive relationships that a lot of people find themselves in. Now, these are things that people don't really like to talk about. It's too uncomfortable. This is my personal business. I don't want anybody to know my business, so I don't want to talk about them. But unfortunately, I have a big mouth. I talk about anything I want to talk about and break the ice. And so, my big sister, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing great by God's grace.
Thank God for that. And I can see that you're really in the Christmas mood. I can see your Christmas tree. I can see everything.
Honestly, these kids are actually don't actually understand that this Christmas, but they are in the mood. So absolutely, I mean, these are some of the things we should do: beef morale and other things. Spirit. So this morning they put it up, and I think they did a great job. I owe them £5 each for
Good
Christmas tree.
Yes,
that.
Kudos to them. Well done, kids.
This is how bribery and corruption starts. Don't mind them.
Yeah. Oh my God. So sis, I mean, I know that you probably have had a lot of conversations off camera with a lot of people. And I know that you talk extensively about mental health issues, abusive relationships. See, I've been spying you for a long time, you know. And, you know, we find ourselves this year in this whole COVID thing, and people don't really know what to do with themselves. So what has been your own experience with regards to the three things that we're wanting to talk about? And what have you heard people say?
Okay, so let me first start saying that this COVID has just caught everybody up unaware. It is not like maybe somebody anticipated it. So nobody has actually saved for COVID. Companies have not thought about it. Governments have no idea about it. We are all it's just like somebody have just switched a breaker and everything has just went quiet all of a sudden in the midst of everything.
Yeah.
This is how everybody, by some means, we are being affected. Yeah, everybody. No matter how our way of life has even changed.
Yes.
The way we normally live our life previously, and now, if you compare and contrast, there's a big difference. Now, having said that, a lot of people don't like change. Unaware changes, nobody like it. All of a sudden change, which is not planned, thought of, actually nobody likes that because it's actually rattles some feathers maybe you are not ready to. So everybody in this COVID, I always tell people that this COVID has come But COVID in its own way have ways of dealing with each and every one of us, whether social, economically, and financially, our mood. COVID have its own way of ravaging each and every one of us. So if it does not affect you financially, it will affect you, your social life. If it does not affect your social life, it will affect your economic life. If it does not, and you have your own businesses you are running, some of us, our businesses will be affected. Some people have to file bankruptcy or go on, and for the first time, have to go on food bank. For the first time, have to seek for social help. It is all right. It is all right because this is not your doing. Don't let anybody feel guilty that I didn't do something. I should have done this, I should have done that, because our mind, our subconscious can actually play with us sometimes. So this kind of the COVID is here. I mean, government doesn't even know when this is going to go away. But it looks as if you listen to how they speak and how the scientists are speaking, it's going to be here for a very long time, at least for another year or so. So we are just living around it. We are just living our life around it. By so doing, economic system, social system, relationship, and every other thing is going to change. Begin to put that in your mind. Factor COVID and how it has changed your life into it, whether you like it or not. This is to everyone who is listening to us, whether you like it or not. The way our social gathering have changed. For that reason, if you're a football fanatic and you go to football, is where you have your socialization. It has been cut short when you have not planned for it. If you're a church mouse like me, or you enjoy being in the gathering of the saints, and I mean, our way of worship have changed. Now we have to be in Zoom and find any other means to socialize. You need to factor it. Financially, some people are really affected. So if you are in the hospitality business, for those people, they are in the deep end of the barrel. Honestly, they are in their debts, especially people who don't even have savings. And even if you have, for 9 solid months, and if you are in the diaspora, wherever you are, you have dig into the savings up to now. How much is it left now?
Exactly.
It is a tough time. So don't let anybody feel that, don't let social media or how you see people outside make you think that you are losing your grip. Everybody is dealing with it in a different angle. Now, how mentally and how you will look around the big picture is what matters now. And if you are a single mom, if you are a dad, trying to do whatever to put food on the table this evening, as you are listening to me, pat your back. You've done a great job. It is a difficult time for everybody. Trust me, governments are actually scratching their heads. So how much more that you don't have the World Bank at your doorsteps? Everybody is struggling. Don't let social media, what you see on social media, how other people are putting their right feet on the screens, fool you. They all have their own issue dealing. If it's not a children's education, it's a marriage. If it's not, and this thing is got to do with COVID. There might be issues already, but COVID might have compounded it or brought them out in a different dimension. So that is what I'll say about it.
Okay, so specifically, because I felt it myself when this whole COVID thing started. As you rightly said, I already had my issues. COVID just compounded it and made it look like a whole big thing. Because for me personally, I'm a very extroverted person. I like to be around people, jumping around all the time. I like to be outdoors, but we're all cooped inside for a long time. And you don't see people much. You can't talk to anybody. People say, oh, but you can do Zoom. It's not the same.
It's not the
I
same.
like to hug people. I want to be around people, relationships. That is how we're made. That's what we were made to do.
For me, one of the things I forgot to tell you this. Me, I always tell people I want to own my truth. I want to be a plain Jane. I don't want to fake it to people. So honestly, if I sometimes when I'm doing this program and I'm saying certain things, I don't want you to feel it's not for petty reasons. That's why I'm telling you. But I have learned a lesson out of it. That's why I'm telling you. It is up to you to take it or whatever you see it is up to you. One of my source of stream of income, I've actually lost it. The whole 9 months, because I do programs like I MC for programs, weddings, funerals, and other things. A whole solid 9 months. I've not had the bookings I had and estimated things I was thinking of using that money to do. Did not materialize. But that is not the end of the world. So what? That is how you have to look at life now. Because after all, now with this COVID, it is what you eat, where you put your head, and then thinking that the next day you have a healthy life. That is all that matters. The rest will take care of itself. So people should give themselves a break a little bit. Don't be so tied up, because honestly, like I said earlier on, whether you like it or not, it has been affected. I'm a very social person like yourself. So just imagine that somebody like me, one of my source of income is blocked. Because I'm a very all over the place, or you could see that I'm a very active person. I am here, I'm there. Now all of a sudden it has been cut short, unplanned, not knowing when. So all of us, don't let anybody make you feel like you are not good enough, or one try enough, or you could have done better before the COVID or something. No, even governments who have federal reserves are scratching their heads. This is one thing I used to encourage myself. If banks, all the ministers of state now, when they are talking, they are scratching, they need to be careful what they tell us, because you know what? They have predicted it's not working. But what can we do? Live by the day and actually find ways and means to also cope around this COVID. I think that's the best answer I could give.
Yeah, so with this whole thing, everything all the issues that I had became compounded, and then we're all cooped into one place. But the point that I'm trying to make, because sis, you know that a lot of us Ghanaians, Africans, there is this whole shame and thing around mental health issues. You can't talk about it. You're mad. You mean you're crazy. Hey, what's wrong with you? So this small COVID thing, you can't handle it. What's the matter with you? Are you crazy? What about them? I mean, and people make you feel like you've gone off your rails. The point I'm trying to make is that for me personally, because I have had a close relative, somebody that I loved, my mom's sister, couldn't handle things, and unfortunately she's not here anymore. From that incident, I have learned the hard way that mental health is a very, very important thing. And I'm switched on that part of my being. And so when I found that, no, I can't do it. I have to tell somebody. I wasn't ashamed to own it and to say, Sister, I'm struggling. I can't do this. I need help. And I went and got that help. And that's the point that I'm trying to get you to make.
Saying all that I've said earlier on, it is so that we will have this conversation, especially our men. A lot of men from ever since this COVID started have lost their jobs. And for African men, part of their identity is what they do. This is my reaching out and my pleading to husbands, boyfriends, people's dad, single fathers out there. I'm reaching out to you tonight. It is all right if you don't feel all right. If you are not all right, we normally African culture, on what to say, it is all right. I don't feel fine. Obroni will tell you, I don't feel fine. It is all right. Don't let us feel ashamed. Because listen, whether we like it or not, mental health is real. Our community don't want to talk about it, but it's a subject, this COVID, ever since COVID started, right from day one, they asked us to go into indoors. I started talking about it because I knew some people, their work is where they find solace. He or she is workaholic. That is how he gets his therapy. You don't know that it's a therapy, but subconsciously that is what it is. And if something should happen to it, you are around such people, try and motivate them as much as you can. Try to, especially our husbands, when they lose their jobs, Emotionally, they don't tell us, but emotionally they go through a lot. Emotionally, they go through a lot, especially for somebody who is the breadwinner. It is part of the identity. They classify their jobs as their identity. Oh, yeah, oh, that is one of the few things when you meet a young man, upcoming man, he wants you to know that it's hard working. It's part of the identity, whether you like it or not. A lot of them, I'm a doctor, I am a that is how they roll. I mean, that's how they roll. So please, this COVID, a lot of companies are going bankruptcy. Some men have lost their jobs, but because of the kind of women they are living with, a man will take a strap or his car, go out as if he's going to work. Meanwhile, he doesn't have a job. If you don't start having this conversation, make the person feel that whether you have a job or not, I still see you as a spouse. I still see you as the man I know that you married me. It will not be forthcoming. A lot of them have lost their job. They just take the car, go around, walk around labor office and come back as if they are working. They are not working, especially for those of us who are in the diaspora. A lot of them, that is what they are doing these days. One man came into my inbox. He says, Auntie, do you know that for 3 months I've lost my job? I've not have the confidence to tell my wife. And I said, why? He says, I wasn't, for a very long time, I didn't want my wife to pick a full-time job because my job was very demanding. And I thought that my wife would do a part-time job. And constantly, in fact, I didn't want her to work. But because my wife saying that, you never know, something for years, my wife kept telling me, let me do something. But I thought that we need to pay attention to the kids so that it doesn't look as if we are looking for money and we lose track of what the kids are doing. Now I find myself the breadwinner, the one who paid the mortgage, the one who does everything. I've lost the income and I can't tell my wife. At least I have saved for 5 or 6 months. Now I am half of the 6 months money have saved. So I'm now in the 3rd month, going to the 4th month. It's left with only 2 months. If I don't do something, and I said, why didn't you tell your wife? And he says, it is tough for me because I feel guilty that when my wife, a graduate, wanted to work, because of the demands of my work, I used to travel. The company let me travel every now and then. I thought that my wife should sit at home. And even her getting a part-time job, somebody have to intervene for me to give him. Now, all of a sudden, that prestigious job is gone. When a man tell you this and he breaks down on the phone, she'll tell you the level of depression or the level that man has come. Now, if you're a friend, people can't open up to people anymore. Why? Because I am afraid that my dirty linen will be outside.
Washed in public.
Yes, my dear, it is better to save your life than your dirty linens coming in the public. Because you know what? The very thing you are crying for, somebody is in a worse situation. That until you speak up, help is always there. Help is always there. I always tell people, seek help. The help is there. It is we Africans who are not using the help. There are voluntary helplines, anonymous lines, phone lines. If you are in the UK, you can type all those helplines. I'm trusting God by the time we finish this program, I'll put up some of the links and some of the phone numbers if you are in the UK. I am trusting Sika will also put maybe Canada, whereas their contact. If somebody is watching us, you are from Germany, Austria, Canada, you can also put the help link on the feed so that people can, whilst you are doing this, people can know that there is help everywhere you go. Apart from that, after this program, you want to talk to Sika or myself, come to our inbox. We'll do the best we can. We'll support you any way we can. Support is just me listening. And by listening, when you finish, I'll tell you, so what do you want to do? Sometimes they just need a shoulder to cry on.
Mm-hmm.
They want to tell somebody who understands their plight. And that is what we should be. If you're a friend, when your friend is crying, tears have not dropped. A real friend will see you cry, even though teardrops are not there. And these are the friends and relationship we should keep, so that you are not afraid to let your guards down around them. You are not afraid to tell them, this is what is going on around me. Something is going on. in my local language, they will say, "Akumemu awerɛhoɔ bi ɛrekɔ so. Akumemu awerɛhoɔ bi ɛrekɔ so. Epinisie ne epinidie bi abene bi ɛrekɔ so ɛwɔ wo mu." And sometimes all you need is a shoulder to cry on and tell the person how I am feeling. It is not all therapy medication purposes. Sometimes the only therapy you need is a listening ear that will listen and actually ask you, so what do you want to do? And then when the person tells you what to do, you ask him, so how do we go about it? It is not when you are going to say, no. This is not the time. This is, but the person coming to tell you what he's going through knows what he or she needs to do. The only thing is he needs to vent out to somebody. All the person needs, the therapy he needs, that is some of the people, that's what they need. Other people, a lot of talking, a lot of encouragement, a lot of assurance, and a lot of giving them hope that tomorrow is another day. There is light in the tunnel. Something will come. Just keep. Well, some people have now, some of you, the jobs or your qualification cannot get you jobs anymore.
Say that again.
Some of you, your qualification cannot get you jobs anymore. Other people, you are qualified, but your kind of job you are looking for might not be in the market. This is where sometimes the depression sets in, because somebody can be at the top, very top, but because his or her kind of job, prospect job, white collar job, is no more in the market. So you have to do something else, do another trade or something, which some of our men, it might bruise their ego. This is where the situation, some of our men may find themselves. Begin to psyche whoever you are living with who has lost his job, his mind. Begin to tell him, doing something minimum than the other, I don't see you any less of a man. Encourage that person. Some people might have lower job prospects being knocked at their door. They are not picking it. It means that deep down in their heart, something is going on they can't tell you. Don't see them as lazy people, but rather try to assure him or her. It doesn't matter what kind of job you do. I still value who you are. The value I have for you. These are, whether you are a mother, a sister, a brother, whatever, keep assuring the people, whatever is happening now, the value or the kind of value I have for you have not depreciated, but rather, if for anything, my respect, you have actually earned mine. Keep saying those kind of things to those people. They need it at this time. They actually need it. You will be surprised and amazed how that far this simple words will go. It doesn't matter. The person might not be forthcoming. Some of them are hanging in their rooms as if they don't want to go out. It is not their fault. What is going on in their mind is bottling up. And if we don't start dealing with it, it turns to something else. A lot of things. As we are discussing, I'll bring some of the signs and the symptoms we should be looking out for. So
you took the words right out of my mouth. What are the telltale signs for people that live with, it could be you're living with your husband. What are some of the things that you know him, right? So what are some of the things that maybe he goes too quiet? He gets angry easily. He's irritated by anything you say. The sound of your voice makes him angry. What are the telltale signs?
They are all signs. They are typical signs you should look out for. You have an husband who's a chippy man. I mean, he says his mind, he's a jovial person. All of a sudden, it's curling in. Sometimes when you are talking to him, as if a mind is not there, he's really absent-minded most of the time. Some of our men actually don't flow in conversation anymore. It looks as if anything now these days, when you say he just snapped, it should tell you that something is going on. He's bottling something. And if people don't talk as matured people, have matured conversation, be diligent in the way we talk and the way we speak around those people. I'm not saying walk eggshell around them, but be diligent, and also the way we have interactive conversation, let it be productive. For instance, a man has lost his job and you are thinking of doing something which will not bring profit or much of interest to that man. he will not anticipate in this nonsense. For instance, the man is struggling to find when her next paycheck will come. You are actually more concerned about your nails. And I'm not saying if you are working, don't go and do your nails because your husband have lost his job. But what I'm saying is this line of conversation will not interest somebody who has lost his job.
Exactly.
So let us as women. I know women who want to talk about everything, all the nonsense you want. Oh, have you seen the bag? Oh, have you seen the dress? Oh, have you seen that when you are watching TV? A man who has lost his job, this is not what he's looking at on the screen. A man who listen to buy Times papers is looking at how current maybe financial stock is depreciating, and you are talking about bag, the Louis Vuitton bag, the nonsense and all that. I mean, if you do that around somebody who has lost his job or going through the cycle, this distressful time, the tendency, he will bottle it up for some time, but one day he will snap out. You will see something that you have never seen before. Why? Because in as much as tolerating you, suppressing it, one day he or she will snap out.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of thing goes both ways. For some women or some men, actually, sometimes when one doesn't have a job, because there's a lot going through the person's mind, even when you are eating and you are chewing your mouth too loud, it will rotate that person. You eat frequently, it annoys the person. It looks as if you don't care. One of them, the one who pays the bill, might start thinking, you are wasting this, you are wasting that. Or maybe the person have not said it, but because previously he or she is the one who was buying it, now it's cornered. Somebody is buying it. Eating it is a problem. When he doesn't eat it, it's a problem. So he's caught in between. And then when you see the person tiptoeing around you, begin to question what's going on. Sit the person down. Let the person feel comfortable. Begin to say some of these things. It is well. Tomorrow is another day. I will do anything that nobody will see our nakedness outside. Say those things. Begin to talk those things so that you boost the person ego a little bit, because he might be down. If it's your wife who, by virtue of this COVID, has lost his job because he works in an office now, the offices are not working, they don't know when they are going back, government subsidies are not working, encourage your wife. Listen, you bringing in money on the table does not depreciate that I love you. Tell her those things. I do respect you, that you are being a support. I thank God that I have you as a wife or as a husband. I know it's tough time, but this one is not going to last. Use wisdom to work around them, because whether you like it or not, you see their emotions. You will see it. I mean, as time goes on, becomes obvious. But some of our men, by virtue of I'm a man, he doesn't want to show, but the thing is there. It is sitting that man up. So sometimes when you are going to work, it becomes suspicious of you. Why is it dressed too nice? So all this only for job, all this for going to work. The same thing applies to the women. The woman has lost his job. The husband just put on his new pants he bought from the shop. US and Canada will say pants. UK will say a new trousers or whatever he has bought. And you are looking at the man. You are, hey, into all this. It's a Juma keke. I've done it before. I've done it before. I won't lie to you. I was on maternity, and then after 6 months staying at home, I was fed up staying at home. Then at a point in time, if my husband is going to work, I say, hey, as if that man doesn't know, but I'll dress it that out. Why? Because my mind has started playing tricks on me. My mind is telling me that your mind will play tricks on you.
Yes.
The long and short of the matter is, whether you like it or not, when things like this are happening in your home, the tendency say the thing has not happened, but your mind may be telling you. Then if your wife decides to do makeup, you are watching her in the side of your corner. I mean, as if it's sizing you. Oh yeah, sure. Say, Juma no. Start looking at your phones. It will be frewa. One day frewa no. One day kasano. All telltale signs to tell you, say, it's not that he doesn't trust you, but it is his mind playing at him, say, Onye Jume, Nieman Koshi, what are you doing? Remember, I've told you some people, their job is the identity. So if that identity is crushed, remember, one phase of his life is crushed. He's beginning to feel little as long as Nejuma Aseno, every day, the longer that thing takes, the more to say, first no who say, or you say, or sube say, and as the days or months is going by, Onyanya Jumano, na eba closer, never closer, never after back closer, Sanabo Senafia Cassie. In Jacassi, you know, after not snap it out rough. Those kind of things can affect relationship. And these are the times when a man kamuka ediagro. Oh, for us, so that same word at this crisis, if you say that thing, one year, it will
meaning from a so.
That's and so on. And that is not what you mean. And you may be aware, and yet if it's not that it's in distress, it doesn't really matter to him. Now you realize, say, Nebiana, they are pemosa. Now, Umami Gana Kraman issue. I mean, you fight, and no, it is not dream. Now, as any person who wants to keep his home, this is where the situation is. This is where, when you are a good wife or a good husband, you should know how to work around it. It is tough. I won't stand here and say it is easy. It is not easy. No. Especially with some of us women, you are tired after being taken over time and other things, trying to bring food on the table. Now, late in the night, I always say this thing, and I won't lie about it. When there is money issues, you are struggling with financially as family, you are struggling. And at dawn, your husband thing raise up his legs and is coming. If you don't have self-control, sometimes the way
slap him.
Slap is okay, and then but the way you will actually slap on us who physical reaction, but said your bed petty when your bear man I dream drew kakrebia, a hoka crano, what bring you have caused something in that man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, whether there is money, there is no money, every morning, if the man is sexually active, that thing will raise up his head. Remember, whether your man is working, is not working, which is no fault of his. Satisfy him, bedmatic have to be done. It is part of the marriage contract. So some of you women, my head, my shoulder, my knees, my toes, after going to do overtime, it is not an excuse. This thing is very psychological. I mean, every woman who haven't been in that position, when we finish, you come and say your story. Honestly, if you haven't been in that position, you sit at the back bench when we are ready. When the mature women finish speaking, then you come. It's a staff, a yedding. And it takes a godly woman. It takes somebody who understands the institution of marriage. It takes somebody who have decided to keep his home. It takes somebody who is not playing with marriage for marriage's sake, but want to keep his home. Because the longer these things go on, the more
irritating it can be. Yes.
Irritating, adding. And this is where I stand for those of you who are Christians. When this is where the applicable says a woman should humble himself. Humility, no. And yet, no. And yet, no. But this is when your humility, godly humility, should be at work, because it is no fault of his. COVID have made him lose his contract or whatever. But then again, it doesn't lose the headship of the home, lose husbandry, the title. A juma na say, and a juma say no, as you say, when I want the bread in the table, no, does not mean position has been switched. No. Don't make your mind make you think, say, because now you are the breadwinner, and now for some reason, no, now the bread but table. So position in the realm has changed. No, that is not how God sees it. So I will put it there.
Sis, and I also think that for those women, the point you just made, for those women who can't relate to what you're saying, if you're fortunate enough to meet a man who, because I know there's some men who, when they don't have money, the whole thing about sex even switches off anyway. It's you're very lucky because in Ipanano, boom, he's
It
a
is a lie. I mean, let me throw this thing here. It is a lie that if a man does not have money, it's by the time he obedu level now, sex has switched off. No, na ne yere na amani attitude ama say obema no so asaiki na adwen say one man attitude that man does not get there so easily. And you be ana oni sika sex free na adwen baby, but attitude that when ya will be an experience be some experience that person has gone through no and na a switching of that side no. But say uni obiti mote papa you will have a good relationship. You have a good home. When the man was working, everything was going on smoothly. You have a godly relationship, and the family home was okay before any crisis started. The man does not just switch like that. And the person will tell you that because he doesn't have job, it is not true. But unless he have seen some attitude and behavior, then he will decide to say, he will psyche his mind to say, he can't me botomunti on permit. And the number I will do everything to get money. When I get money now, when
then
you
I'll come back.
A man like that, after the crisis, if you are not careful, obey jail.
Yes.
A lot of people have made that mistake. The man didn't have a job. Things were rough for the man. And you decide to say, Papa ne dia hometia nkakra. The moment those people stand on their feet, no more jaw. And you don't understand they was standing on his feet. This goes for those people who are in diaspora. He's living with a man, he might not have papers. Because of paper, papa ninti. Listen, he will endure till the paper come. When the paper come, reason tina. Say, paper now with the man in tina. Oh yes, sir. Okay, paper ne ba. Miss say, I am the man. That's why they need a lot of people. That is why when the paper was not there, the more treatment you took the person through, and he endured you. Now, when it's out of that situation, he will tell you, say, I am a human being. It was some reason I was quiet because everybody will do that. Everybody will do that. Somebody will say, oh, man, you're not sure. Oh, you're crack, no two, your boy. And son, crack, yes, I'm not saying there's no odd ones among them. There are some people, they are ungrateful. Naturally, they are ungrateful, but those people are there. But generally, I'm telling you the truth. Something might have happened. Bibi or why you people did not talk about it. Or Berman team and or ban team or trying when the situational sort itself and the situational woman
Sis, I've actually had a lot of, because I have a lot of male friends, more than women. Enough for a mem. I have three sisters. So okay, I don't have a brother. And to me, because you get a lot from them too, and you get their perspective on things. And I've heard a lot of stories, especially in the UK. The one I'm free, my better na hey. Now me was London.
Oh, London,
I Tottenham.
Oh, okay.
Edinburgh, the school now me corner, but long distance.
All right.
But I'm coming to the point where I've heard so many guys. This whole paper thing you're talking about is to one side, but I've also seen a lot of guys. They're married, and in Fitiasiano, Bearman was working. Maybe but he was working.
Yeah.
Obano and had any skills be. And so he supported the wife, encouraged her, go do nursing. I think you can do this. You can do it. I'll support you. So the guy holds the fort. The woman goes to do this nursing, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. She gets a job. Suddenly, she dresses up. She goes to the job. Bema de ochini cleaning. Ebia ochi uba. Ebia oye. You know, he's the handy kind of person. Or ye plumber. Or ye inti. Oba na fe. No one shall the moon sabi. Now, the man wants to also improve himself. Maybe he wants to go to college too and do something into also so to say now, now you now have a job. Hold the fort so that I can also go out there and oh no, I can't. You are the man of the house. You have to make it happen. You have to do it.
Wicked this thing comes in front of me. I have the privilege to counsel a few people in my line of work. So, and sometimes when they start blah 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 blah, by the time you go deep into it, one has held the persons and the other one is a turn to reciprocate, and then the story starts changing. They start changing the narrative. He's not good enough. It's not blah 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 blah. I said, no, my sister. I mean, when these things comes in front of me, I don't spare anybody at all. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest. A lot of us as Ghanaians or Africans, we are sick. The reason why most of our homes and people are dying and a lot of wife beaters and all blah, 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 abusive husbands and all those things, a lot of us are sick because the premises of marriage, a lot of us didn't understand, and we stepped into it. Even the reason why the young lady is marrying, he doesn't understand. At a point, it becomes like a fashion. My classmates are marrying. The people around me are marrying. I need to
say it again.
I need to show it off. It comes with responsibilities. That one day show, the dancing entrance and all those nonsense that you do, that one is not marriage. That one is a choreography. This is a photo shoot. The other one is just showing off your wealth or showing that you're also there. The real is going to live with the person under the same roof, where tenancies, as a big grown man who is 40, can laugh like a 13-year-old boy or 10-year-old boy. In the presence of you, that man become like a boy. That woman of 50 years, the man can tickle you and you will giggle like a teenager who are just fall in love. In your tears, how you scream, how you jump when you're excited, all those things. That chimp there's a lot of things I will not see. Chimp 8 years, 10 years before marriage. There's a lot of things about you I will not see until we are married. And it brings some of the demons around us because marriage can push you to the edge where change some of the things you are not obligated. So you can,
yes, if you don't like, you can walk away.
You can skip that episodes easily. After all, that is your excuse, and it is true. And nobody have said train will guarantee marriage.
Nope.
Yes. So therefore, in marriage, dear, that is where all the nonsense and all the rubbish of each other will be as plain as daylight. And said the Oda will shine crum. Said the Medana drew her who would be shine crum after your idea chia, where's when they shine crum, where's why mammy and not all this nonsense. It is in marriage. It is in marriage. Your husband and your wife vulnerability will be known to you, something nobody will see. Even a own parent, that habit, it can actually deceive them with it, but it is in marriage. The reason why mental health shows up in marriages and in relationship is what I'm going to tell you. It's because the community we came from, you and I come from, we did not understand marriage itself. I'm 30. Anybody that comes, so long as he have 3-pack, he's cute, he's sexy, he's that. He have the bat. Now the bat is a very heavy thing to look out for when you are going to marry these days in Ghana. A woman who have a woman with enough body. Somebody will say, I want the one with the breast. Breastina for some people want the one with the hip, the one with the small waist. Me, when my husband was coming to marry me, I had a small waist. Now, after years living with that man, the waist has expanded. So if it's because of the waist, can you imagine I am disqualified by penalty? When that man was going to marry me, I was slimmer than this. Now I've gained a bit of pound flesh. So if it's the beauty, things change in our body. When I was going to marry my husband, lucky for them, their genes are very good. They can eat fufu morning, evening, night, whatever. The way I knew this man, yes, even their friends can say, you, what kind of a draw are you using? Or a draw kunaye? Teachers. Because once a mate have pot belly and all that, he's still the same. Yanga. So if that man is going to look at me, Abra, when I was marrying you, yeah, this time your body changed.
You had plasma TV. Now you have a desktop.
Can you just imagine? Marriage go beyond the physical appearance. Marriage go above a lot of things that these days, this generation have no idea.
True.
There is a lot of things in marriage. It is marriage that can corner you to one point. And sometimes, if you are not quick enough, as you are talking about mental health, you can be very stressful in that relationship out of something, and you don't go or talk about it. You, the person, will lose yourself. Marriage can let you lose yourself.
Yes.
Why? Because of marriage. And this is when this conversation is relevant, that we should look out for each other when we are in relationship. We should look at our mental health and our well-being should be the paramount thing, rather than we all chasing money and other things. Because you know what? When the person have money and he's crazy, one day or the two of us will. He has money. You get a 4x4 and he able to because you are just looking at their pentimam and ton and one I'll share. You are looking at the physical attributes. You can be a good handbag, so the man pick you. Papa, you won't shut down penosa. Nebro fonye. What show a level of intellectual capacity, and that man, his low IQ or form kakra. Now, so who are naturally wanting our papa nechi. Now, when he brings you to the house, hey, the class is times 10 because at inside the house, no, what you now not you can't show the man off. You can't show the man off, and that is reality. The man is in his house. He needs to be free to be himself. My girl back was papa ne teta. What to say? On fa baby are not. Girl no so etano so ya ne time. Also odia krang only momentin ka me pe no. Na etano ya not teta. Ono so efie no ya comfortable. O woni pemu a won ton be fia it is his house. Such a man, he has his money. You came to marry him, not a time na be fa no. Thank
you.
What am I telling you? There are some habits being married to does not change.
I'll change him, sis. I'll change him. I know he's bad, but when I marry him, I'll change him.
The man is verbally abusive. You saw her abusing her sister when I married him. Now, who is Jesus Christ, mother? Hey, my dear, you cannot change that person. The person is growing a habit. I bet can abra bohun olive or new will you quacophobia wedi tech or that animal fear una baby changing. You cannot change a man. A man does not need to be changed to be married to. Make sure it's just like going to chroma or tomatoes. Tomatoes will be brave, but make sure say you are buying the right kind of product you want. You check. Well, I said, then this I can live with, this I cannot live with. Make sure you check very well. Background checks. A lot of things goes into it before you say I do. Don't just say I do because of the package. But before you say I do, make sure that you have read inside out the manual, everything. There are some things I cannot stand it. He does it. No, this is a red flag. This is a red flag. This is a red flag. Sit down, know yourself as an individual too. Before you say I do, it is very imperative. Know yourself before you say I do.
Thank you so much. And so, sis, you've highlighted some of the telltale signs and things that people need to look out for if you're living with a partner who is starting to exhibit mental health issues. So now you've seen these telltale signs. He doesn't talk much. He's starting to be, verbally abusive in a certain way, if not physical, because that's how it starts. It's bit by bit by bit and it builds up. Some people also become very quiet. They don't talk much. It's bottling up, it's bottling up, it's bottling up. And then one day there's just a big outburst. And you're like, over nothing, over nothing, over nothing.
It's a very tiny. Some people will say, when people start saying, I'm not concerned about the big things, I am concerned about the little things. It's a sign to tell you that the person, something is going on, is giving you a sign. And I'm not worried about the big things, but it's the little things. It's telling you that some behavior is going on, he doesn't like it. And when you are smart, you have an open conversation. I started by saying a lot of Ghanaians don't even know how to start a conversation. We don't even know how to have a conversation or a dialogue. We're not taught. We don't know how to do it. But if we do know it, we have to be. Listen, for about a month or so, those of you who have been coming to my platform, I've been saying, be intentional about people. When you are intentional about people you live with, in this life change, you will sense it before it comes at your doorsteps. Those who, for the group who does not talk at all, and the little things they best out. Sika, I promise you that a lot of things have gone on. The man will see you misbehaving, talking about electricity, they switch on TV, you are making noise, he decide not to talk about it. One day, you will bring the animal in that man. The kids are misbehaving, doing all sort of things. You pass slide comments, the man decide not to mind you. One day you bring that animal in that man. And those people who doesn't talk are the most dangerous one, because you don't know when the cup is full, how long he has been bottling it up. You don't know when it will burst up. And you must be wary about those people the more, because I say mutism will say so or pick a time or person or the casano. Begin to be wary. If you are a spouse, begin to be wary. Sit down, have a conversation. And kwalana dano, bemena me hu sakra ye bi wum. Bibi wo ho a menye ni yia. Let me know so that I can also help. When you begin to give such an assurance, maybe the first day it might not work, but as you keep saying it, he will open up. And seriously, the person sees that you are genuinely concerned, genuinely want to be part of the solution. They will open up. But some people will say it, but they will not do anything as if they want to help for the situation.
They don't mean it. They don't mean
it. They don't mean it. If you give that kind of mixed signals, it makes it difficult for the person who is going through something to voice out. Because at the subconscious of his or your mind, he or she thinks he's just making a mockery of me. He doesn't mean it. It's not serious. What I'm going through, he doesn't. It's just like telling somebody that I am feeling some kind of way. And then the person is telling you, so. Next time I won't tell you. Because if I tell you about the say, what is the point? So any intellectual conversation ethics, we don't have that interactive, we are trained social skills. A lot of Ghanaians don't have. But it is not too late. We can learn, because listen, this COVID thing is transcending into our kids. The youth, our kids at home are also feeling it. And it is about signs. Parents, watch out, because now we are still in lockdown and we are all at home. So it's like the child is from school and then home. Whilst previously, some of them have other social activities like extra curriculum,
school club and football and piano and all that.
All those things has been cut short.
Yeah.
And the child, some of them have started misbehaving, temper tantrums, crying. Some of the women, one of your things are also crying. It is a sign, say, depression is setting in. Or yet a crying baby, full grown woman, if you have a girlfriend, or you'll be an any but Nancy, I said, dear husband, watch out, something. The woman is giving you signals. Akumemwa breho, anxiety. Sani kan wochi. Akumemwa breho. Now, no, not so my scripture talks about anxiety. I'll look for it while we are talking. Akumemwa breho be a koso, which means there's a deep-seated troubling issue down there.
Yeah.
Some of them they cannot even put their finger on.
Exactly.
That's the same thing about the mental health thing. You cannot actually put your hand per se, say, but okay, come one air cost around you, no, and overwhelm. I say, a cow. Some, I mean, that is the feeling they are having. And look at the signs. Husbands, pay attention. Some of the women, their hairs are falling off. Oh, yeah, actually, 8 to 2. So be one and the chinny and now or baby or mom chinny doors, no more so the chinny diagro. I say, Monene Casana, Junini. Prepare Koso. On sudden, it doesn't have words to articulate how it's feeling to you. So they are over Tiasi. Because the kind of person you are, no, conversation in flow and not conversation level no end through. Now, my to me, body air Koso no, the way the spouse is, the other party is not able to express his feelings for him to understand exactly how distressed or how depressed or how a mood or a feeling is like. And sometimes it makes it difficult for people who are going through mental health to actually articulate by words, word by word, how I am feeling emotionally to you, because you don't understand the thing. You don't get it. It's like you have not made up your mind to understand what I'm going through. So therefore, I would not even speak. And at this difficult times, allow them to speak and express themselves. It is a healing process. It is part of the healing, and it will go a long way to help. If we start doing this in the family homes, for our sisters, for our wives, for our husbands, for our brothers, for the people around us, and for our kids. Every now and then, ask your child, how are you feeling? What is going on? What is happening in the school? Once in a while, hug them. People who say when you start doing that, he doesn't have words. But nowadays, the kids, they've been taught at school to be hugging and to have mean time on all those things. If you realize your daughter or your son can hug you for a very long time, it means that begin to ask such questions like, are you okay? How are you feeling at school? How is your classwork? What is happening in the class? How is your teacher? Definitely, as a child, once you go through some of the things he's interested in, there's a tendency that if something is going on, he's struggling, even with math or something the teacher said, he wasn't paying attention. You will have a clue. They will say something. And our teenagers, parents, there are gadgets all over around us. That teenager have a tablet, he have a smartphone, and it's only a matter that your daughter or your son googling the word. We will say Google. We will Google word, you know. Once you Google the word, you always, this one goes to parents who have teenagers. You always have to be one step ahead of them. When I say that, be careful some of the answers you give them. That teenager might fall head over wheels with a young man. That man is not checking your daughter out. Pressure from schoolwork. Now, we are doing online. Some of the kids are not actually progressing with this online teaching. Some people thrive very well when they are sitting in front of a teacher. Others are okay with the computer. Others are not okay. They are in their depths. Ask them questions. How are you feeling? What do you think needs to be done? How do you want me to help you? Ask questions like that. Talk to them about those things because they are also feeling in the pinch. And this is how our environment will be. These days, it is statistically, the youth are committing more suicide in an African community, and we need to watch out. So one of my passion for parents, talk to your teenagers. Don't leave them because they are playing games. Some of the games, they are teaching them how to commit suicide on it. Some of the videos they are watching, it's not even healthy. Some of the games they are playing, it is actually doing their head in. Watch out for those things. Not just because once in his room, you have your peace of mind to go and do your job. So it's okay. No. Pop in and see that young boy. You are a single mother raising a young boy. He's a teenager. Something is happening to that young man. He knows you're a female. He cannot talk to you. Look for a male mentor or somebody he can confide in, somebody he rolls with, so that he can open up, even if not to you as a mother. He will open up to somebody, and then you get the information to help or support him at home. It will go a long way. It will go a long way for them.
So, sis, before we go, so we've picked on the things that tell you that there's something not quite right. What should you do? So if you see that these are not just things that you can deal with as the spouse, like you talk and all of that. Some people just, whatever you do, they can't talk to you, the wife. Maybe for fear that you might not understand them, for fear that you might reject them, for fear that they just don't feel that you can have an objective enough of an opinion because you're too much involved in the situation. And they need a third party, somebody who isn't in the marriage or relationship, somebody who is outside of it, that they can fully express themselves to and get the support and help that they need. For me, that was what helped me, because I just felt my parents, my partner, you don't understand. I needed somebody objective to understand how I was feeling and be able to help me to navigate that. At what stage do you go to see a third party, and what is the process to enable people spot the issues? I'm not just talking about husbands here, also teenage children, because it's not just in the UK, even here in Canada, a lot of older men, young guys, 24, 21, people are going over the top of a bridge and jumping down. If you spot these things, what should you do?
I mean, if you see these things, let me put this word of caution here. Going to see a therapist or going to see a third party, it might not be even a therapist, but a third party who understands what is going on and who can give help. This is where our community does not do well, in the name of, I don't want my business to be out there. My dear, whether or not, God, the day God himself will come down and solve your problem, then divinity God has ceased to be God. Until divinity comes down, which is not yet down, God will use people where the color of the skin of the person does not matter, but it is the help, the support you need to get out of that situation that matters. And let me tell our brothers and sisters who are listening to us, that same, I don't want my message to be out there. In 24/7,
Ow.
Whether you like it or not. Said the Ghana for your money with social media and time. But there are still people on social media who have not put their feet wrong, who have not soiled their clothes, who have proved time and time and again, even though sometimes the stone that has been thrown on them have been used to build. And all of you can see evidently, what else do you need as a Ghanaian to know that there are still people who have not soiled their clothes, and the help are from them. What is preventing you? Now help is everywhere. Like I said, there are NGOs and online places you can go anonymously. But let me tell you, there's the difference between a human touch and speaking to somebody who does not even come from your ethnicity, who does not understand your community, giving you raw information. There's a difference. There is a difference. Obi besa ya dia na ntse de o te wase e wo wo kasa mu ene wo adwuma se de be ya wo betumi aboa. Yes, obroni betumi aboa ba bi wo ho ankomo bi wo ho a you and I
can't have with them. Yeah.
Enso ebia saa ade no obi kita ho safo a eno an se wo kɔ ne ho no de ama wo na wo de abie. Enti third party no a ye ka no ɛho hia. It doesn't have to be professionally. Ebi wo ho a na babia mpempenso a nipa na duru no ohia professional help.
True.
Ohia professional help. How would a person ubehu say ohia professional help? Afi ubehu say ade no ekoso. At the end downhill na eko. Waka ho asem ebia me se one ne nkasa. Why encourage? One more assurance. Why yes nyina it is not working. Tuma nipa ne se asumesi me feel say baby ayedru no e wo se obi bam. Man ho kwan na onyin to because nipa ko no anyi antumu se ne hia mo wa hwe ni ba we be ye. Healing starts from the fact that the person will accept to say, "Blipi kwaswa enye don't know, and I need help." Onya reche house say, "I need help with ya," and your help can be given. But when you are forcing the help on his or her throat, and no the enye adwuma. I was any panic to say, "Baby, I'm dreaming hiamu." Nipa ni fra say ohiamu a ekwan a ombefa so ama ne mwan amanetimi agi atom. I always say this. Who cancer medical journal bi mu e no mo ka say cancer ne yare akese a doctor who treat e bi mu ko remission no. One more ko remission enye hwe say 90% of them no GDA or what say ade no on pese ebetena ne so. Even though say yama ne chemo ni ade no. It is the belief system of the person.
That they want to be well.
That he wants to be well. And see, obi wo ha na the cancer no kra enya aggressive to say the other person no. But the difference between the two of them, let's say, back one year to say cancer, you know, and but the other one will say, I will fight this thing with everything I've got. And some of you, all you need is to say, because of the family and the relationships I have around me, I will fight it with everything I got. The make you prepare to salvage the relationship. So relationship and so people throw in the towel very quickly. Because well, relationship we are somebody and also I can be here to go. Now relationship any solid grounds. Enti way a kumamwa rekwane yade ye samba ye. I say I can't awade na bukura e de na to form ebi mo ho anamo de no mpanifo be kasa chia na achia na enu enti eno no ohia bibri kakra bi support no na agina ho ebi wo ho ana ade na to form na it is imperative say both party involved will step back and find out who they are, because if you are a foundation of the relationship, right from the word go, not
what's wrong.
And you may be about upper young jail with it and sign a year back together. Then no, you are afternoon, me no, a one baby. Almost separation, which and also Ghana for the separation does a lot of things. And now what you're separated to discover what is going on, what has brought it, and how we want to deal with it. So I was saying back relationship, you're separating us who won't say what in their own way, who say you will be a somewhat we can salvage it. That is what separation does to people. And sometimes mental health will be and he needs a break to clear his head, to identify who the person is, and also to discover where he wants to go when we come back. Now say you discover you relationship and ye honor near back dealing with it. Baby, why be more counselor her? I wad the moon some na yaria neighbor. Na ebia as counseling go on and you discover now who say I need a break from all these things. Hana ebi wo hwa ye nua manom no eni abotre ye kwakwa discover ye hono no ubo so akofa akodompu abi ebi nso a betrayal bi akoso e na ejai sister no e di na kosa position no it just imagine say wo amu akotwe mpna and I didn't deal with it ma suppress na me de asofo ani mu fede e na me tia wade am afa dru baabi ade na waye me na ye wo mu ana ade na trigger ne ho enti wunya nkotwe mpna me di acha over 3 years ago but ye kwa so na umo bi left kra na sa ade na ba I say no started and I need to deal with it. Oh, fachano. And so he has not healed properly. Betrayal, any say obiakobo drama is a big thing. And sometimes let us deal with it. Let the person heal. And some force acceptance when we throw to me. And it's very imperative we do this in our community.
Yeah, so our brother Nana Fori made a point. He said Africans should not be ashamed to get counseling. Most insurance provides that for free. forget about the stigma and help yourself, sister. What do you
Mm.
have to say about that, darling?
Yes, if there is an opportunity there for you to see a professional help, go for it. You'll be surprised some of the things that comes out. You'll be surprised some of the things you have harbored in. You'll be surprised that sometimes, and yet immediate need now, trigger, but something has gone on. Yeah, about mental health, mental healthy. Deɛ trigger mental health paa yɛ nneɛma akɔ so wɔ nipa abrabɔ mu mmere bi atwa mu na as the person is growing, the same similar situation can crop up and then it brings the whole thing up again, which emotionally he cannot take. Some of the mental insanity. See, for instance, people who are abusers, in their early life, they themselves were abused. Who you nipa 100 when you uyi bear na no ya. Otimi twa mampo na obo ne nsema ma na wobekọ ne background na background check no osua no ne stepmother bi one ne tena aye ne papa yire bi ana ne wofa bi one ne wofa yire bi one ne tena aye na saa na wote ana ne wofa bi one ne tena aye saa na bra botie. So he himself or she herself has been abused before. Enti no eye natural eye bribi a monkey do what monkey does. I just said, Nipano consciously decide to say, I will not do that. And no cry, ne wona say, Nyamia na dawro mana bributre guy beba.
It comes back.
Yes. A mani bi wo hwa osano obi sese no up to date ontimi nka ho asem. Nipa ko no sese no was also supposed to be the primary caregiver. Ye kasa de na anke wo se obo ne ho ban no ono na asese me kasa bia ne papa na essese no ana ne brother penny ne step brother bi na essese no ana ne wofa bi na essese no osua no afa na tena ne na so aya say ye hwe kantata oboa no den say shakola na wa benyi even though sesa de kono or address say no oni ni kunu wo kwe sexually say ni kunu ni romance abana papa yes or ne say kwa de na wa kai sa de no.
So what you're talking about is men, small girls being abused sexually by relatives.
Yeah, by relatives. So that person can grow up. At the end, see years back, that thing might have happened years back. Now that woman, that same small girl, is a grown-up woman. 30 years down the line, now he's married, and maybe coincidentally, the spouse he has now, maybe the way he fondles her or something, is the same as the person who abused her. That woman living with that man every now and again, not for any reasons. When it comes to the man touching him or something, it's easy for that person to insult or abuse that man because you know what? It brings something out of him he hasn't dealt with. So sometimes when you are going for therapy, don't look at the current situation alone. The therapist will look beyond that and professionally give you help you need, tools you need to overcome. Some of you might not heal completely, but some of you also get tools to live around your conditions. And sometimes, if it means that you need to go with your spouse so that he will understand where you are coming from, it will be of a great help because if the person understands what is going on, is able to help both of you coordinate and help each other. So that you are going through the thing, you know what you are dealing with. The person who is living with you also know how to handle you. So for both parties, it will help you to deal with the situation. If there is at any point in time opportunity rise for you to see a therapist, go for it. Go for, even not for anything, do it for yourself. To know who you are, to know the kind of person you are, to actually assess the situation you are in. It will be of help. It will be of immense help. Go for it.
My sister, so before we're going to round up now, we're not going to waffle on for too long, but what are your last words? Because as you said from the very start of this conversation, everybody has been affected by COVID in one way or another. Some people already had mental health issues and it's been elevated as a result of COVID. And some people didn't even know they had issues, but the COVID has elevated it to the point where now they know that they have mental health issues. For me personally, being somebody who has suffered it onwards and backwards and forwards, I've never been on any kind of medication. Ghana for the muhu, menka sa ma boda mu, misremo. Menka sa ma depressed, misremo. But what I'm
Don't mind them. Don't mind them. Me, I have given up on Ghanaians. Me, I have given up. I mean, you can think whatever you think. At the end of the day, I know who I am.
That's right.
Your opinion about me doesn't make me. Let us go beyond the thinking of the opinion, thinking of what somebody thinks about you. It does not matter. That person does not put Bible says, live a simple life and mind your own business. You know why it says that? It knows that there's a lot of things going on. But Bible says, live a simple life. It means concentrate on you yourself. Ghanaians are quick to be looking at people's life, what is going on in Asuma, whilst he or herself have something going on, which is even nastier than the thing he's watching. So, Sika, it is our times we need to tell our own truth. True. It is our times as Ghanaians when we meet like this and we are having this conversation, be bold and honest and say, I have been in this position before. Look at me. That is the testimony. That is what proves that you are of substance. I don't want somebody to know say this. I mean, sister, you're too. Yeah, just at the end of the will be out the catch by my rational thinking, my dear, the say about them. Who the Indian I would say. Mede adechira na adechira say tibia imakomuda na say I've been in the situation, I've come out of it. That is how progressively those in Europe and other nations are growing. Where Africa we are not growing, because even when there is fire, he's just looking at you for you to get burnt. And then that same person will come and cry and it's take away.
Yes.
Our community will not grow.
Yes.
Because you know what? When you do social work, you know that some people don't want to be friends with you because you do social work. They don't like you because you do social work. How that is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't get it in my community. I have a friend who is a social worker. And he says, this lady, I've not done anything to her. He told somebody he doesn't like me. So the thing was bothering the woman because he goes to the same church with the woman. So anytime he bring that conversation, I say, why are you worried that somebody doesn't like you? After all, he's not your friend. So if he doesn't like you, what's your business? He says, you don't understand. Sometimes the way he look at me, or see, you have not seen the way that woman has looked at me. So one day, it looks as if when my friend brought it up, I always say, listen, I always brush it off because I don't want it to make it look as an issue. I'm a person, I don't escalate things. If you bring something, I'll try to diffuse it because we should be bridge that people can use to cross.
Yes, yes.
So one day he videoed the woman looking at her from a different angle. The woman didn't see her. Say, have you seen the eyes he was looking at me? When I tell people that's what he does. And honestly, Sika, if you see the way that woman was looking at her, now you understand what that lady is feeling. So I got closer to the woman and I said, I'm not hypocrite. This woman say you don't like her. Has he done you anything? Has he done something? Even when he greets you, don't respond. We are all Christians. What is going on? He said, how can social workers, they say, it's not that he has taken a child. They say they can remove kids from their parents. I said, oh, is that all? I said, do you know that social workers don't enjoy taking kids from their mothers and their parents? They will do anything for them to have contact, everything. After I have explained everything to that woman, I said, whoever has told you that social worker is taking his or her child, go and ask him or her what has happened. Maybe you. So after educating the woman, I realized that she looks like she's been polished. And today, if I tell you that woman and that lady are in a very best of friends or in terms, you'll be surprised. Where else, if I've not have done that and supported my friend thinking that, oh, or shall, and I'm escalating the whole thing, it could have turned to something else. Let us as Ghanaians appreciate the fact that if somebody has something he has been through, We will not be shaming the people, making them feel like this, but rather thank God that they have come out to say that I have been in the situation and I've come out. Celebrate those things rather than the negativity, and it will help us. It will go a long way. It will go a long way.
So, sis, the point I was making was for me, I made this point earlier. I had a relative, my mom's sister. She couldn't just cope with the enormity of what she had.
Mm,
And she herself wouldn't even accept that she had a problem. We
mm,
were all there. We were all there to support her. We called her every day, but we didn't just realize just how low she had sunk.
mm,
And being in Ghana, being in England, being in the States and not being together in one place, all you can do is you have a phone, you call. The person has the choice to pick up the call or not
mm,
pick up the call. When things got really bad, it was difficult to get through. And I'm not
mm,
saying this, because I'm trying to put myself out there, but as you rightly said, I'm saying these things so people learn.
mm.
Sometimes people have issues. You can see it yourself, but they don't want you to see that they have a problem. And a lot of it had to do with what a Ghanaian's going to say. It's not even so much about the family. I went to school in Ghana and everybody knows me. Imagine when I go back now, everybody's going to know
That
my
is what
business.
they bring that to them.
I
That is
can't
what they
cope with it. I can't cope with it. So unfortunately, my sister, she hung herself.
Mhm.
She did.
Let me tell you one thing. People with mental health, they will do anything to shun you, people around them. One of the tools, when they start doing it, keep pressing on. Don't give up on them. Don't give up on them. Trust me. Sometimes the way they behave, they don't want to pick your calls. When you text them, they don't text back. When you, like Sika is saying, it's difficult to get through them. But one of the things, those who have been able to come to the other side of it, who have not yet harmed themselves, says, I look forward when I'm breaking down. One particular person is always there to pick me up. And it can be just a phone call. It can just be a text to say, how are you feeling today? Have you gone out? And do you need something? I'm going to the shop. Can we have a cup of tea? If you're able to tap this door, go constantly. Sometimes they are in there, they will not open, but keep chapping. You'll be surprised that it's looking forward for that chapping. Sometimes these days, people don't write letters, but this is one of the things I now encourage people to do, because courier service, even with the lockdown, courier service are working, post office are working. Write them letters, memories. Tell him how you loved him, how I want to support and also help. In a very mild way, crack jokes in the letters so that he will laugh and then call you. It is simple tools to use. And let me tell you, they actually shunning you or actually walking away from the help you are giving them. It is not them, it is the illness. Don't look at the person, don't look at physically in your behavior now they show. It is not them, it is the illness that is what is exhibiting. But
Such a very sad situation, sis, because she's not here anymore. She took her life. She's gone. And it's
and
10 years next week.
mm,
And, any time around this sort of time, those who know me well know that I start to be a bit funny.
yeah,
And for me, it's particularly difficult because towards the end, she started questioning even her faith. Me, oh no, talk Kek Franklin, Don Moen CDs and sending them to me.
yeah,
And then at the end of it, she started questioning a lot. The last conversation I had with her, we were talking about whether God was there. We were reading things from James. And just when I said, I understand, she talked plenty for 2 hours. Just when I wanted to, then have my chance to talk to her and for us to pray, she got angry and hung up the phone. 4 days later, she did what she did.
mm.
So,
And
yeah.
Africans have a very the way they do their suicides is very, when we say very cruel way of doing it. With the white people, he can just throw himself on the train or something. But with the African, the way they does it, sometimes the way they, when the suicidals, the way they hang themselves, the way, I mean, if you've been through such scene after they've done it, you see how cruel and it is not easy. And for that reason, for it to get to that point, that is why we must have a good quality family life and social life at this time. Good quality social life. It might just be a phone call away. It might just, now with the COVID, we cannot be traveling, all that. But keep in touch. Get to know them. A lot of us, we are living with spouse. We don't actually know them, because I started by saying the premises, the reason why we got married in the first place, we didn't know. So, but get to know the person, get to know his likes and dislikes, be intentional, even the food they eat, because when they are mentally affected, all these patterns go through how they eat, their timings of eating, how they don't actually eat anymore. Some of them, they stop eating, they are losing weight, all those things. So everything the person does, if you are intentional, you start seeing the crack and then you resolve it very quickly. But if you are not intentional, by the time you realize it has gone too deep and nothing could help. Some of them, when you go and the therapist recommend medication, and okra is another wahala, how they have to take it. Some of them will not take it, but all these things are there. When the person come to you to cry on your shoulder, show empathic love. Show sympathetic love. No, you have not had the illness. Don't show sympathetic love. You need empathic love. The difference between the two is, one is, I've not been through it, but I understand what you are going to do. Empathy, no, you say, I've not had mental illness, or I don't understand emotionally what is going on, but I am there to help. The other one, which is the sympathy, if you have been through it, and now then you can show that one. And not the can. Oh, now no me what you and so no. Well, even me who how I met sure I'll be who difference, because with the before the academy
yes,
distinguishing the two of them.
I think I understand.
That is why you need a professional help. A professional help will give you an empathy love, which gives the person who is in the situation upper hand to decide and evaluate rather than say, so who the sympathetic eye I say, when I walk at and near me was or survive the situation. No. But if you're looking at the person with empathetic eye, money chance, money control what is going on. Emma, onya very informed view about what is going on.
True.
So I can say, ain't you know, I am coming, give me 10 minutes. All these things are very necessary. Third party to come in, allow them to come in, because sometimes you are not called for that. They all come here only monokra. I don't need to know the person what is going through, but when he talks to me as a professional, I know where to start the conversation from. I know where to get him to lose his guard. I know some of the buttons I will press that he will open up to me more often. And third eye, is very important. Let us third eye, say we do out there. Forget it. Everybody, I've told people, every door in this abrochire, behind the door there are issues. And you won't go on our issue. Every door, every address have an issue behind the door. And so what dear and it is all right because you are seeking for help. It's better to seek for help rather than not doing anything at all in the name of somebody will know my business. So what? Let's be with that kind of mindset and we go along with, because this COVID, everybody needs somebody. Even a doctor you are going to needs help.
True.
The nurse who is taking care of you needs help.
Needs help. Yes.
You are going to take the medication from needs help. The support worker, the caregiver, everybody, the police officer, all of us, we need help. So don't make it look as if no, I'm in a different dimension, okay? And it is all right. Pat yourself. You are doing well for 9 months. This unprecedented thing has engulfed us. You've really done well. And
True.
every now and then tell yourself that I might not have a job, but I have life. I have life. It's tough. And then this go out, this one goes to everybody who is in the Ghanaian community. Let us beginning to look out for people. There are people around us, especially yenye wa kwantu mu no. Odofo ye ya kwantu fo. Mumba ye hu ye hu ye hu mobo. Let us be very sympathetic to each other. Mumma yen so so ye mu abia, because COVID people are becoming almost starting here homeless. Homelessness. You know somebody in church, you see him. Now these days you don't see the person. Pick a call, ask, where are you? Are you okay? How is the kids? When you start asking those questions, if there is the need for the person to voice out, he will voice out. Some people are struggling because they don't have what it takes to live in the country they are now. And so all the help the governments are giving, they cannot go forward. And you might know some of them. Reach out to them. Not in a but in your own small way. Reach out to those people. Those of you who are better standing in society, you are okay. You are a nurse. You are a doctor. You are an engineer. Your work has not been affected, but you can give moral support. You can encourage people. It is not much. Buy groceries, £50. Drop them in front of their doorsteps. You'll be surprised how far that thing will go. Drop something in people's life. Intentional about people around us. When somebody is not doing well, thriving, we know. Just as they have once, you are able to see it. The same thing here now. Go be of help to those people in your own small way, in your own small, not big drops of water, so that we all survive this COVID in every way we can. In every way we can, to boost even mental health, for people to also speak up, so that BB Koswa, some of them at the end of Kosono, he needs somebody to just listen. And that day you send the grocery, he was able to say, "Had you not come here, I would have slept without not eating." And that alone, it too at the end self from it too sad the end. You'll be surprised how long, because people have resilience. In this COVID, resilience has been shown in every area. Those who have lost job and they are still holding up their head up, it is resilience. Those who have lost family members in this COVID and yet still they are waking up to go to work, it is resilience. Some people have lost their spouse, but yet still they have not given up. They might be struggling emotionally, but every morning they wake up to look for another day. It's resilience. And all of us collectively needs to help people to see the light at the end of the tunnel. All of us. It's a therapy on its own.
Sis, that
Yes,
point that you made about looking out for people, that thing really struck a chord with me. Said because of those of us who live abroad, this whole thing about, hey, I don't want anybody to know I'm going through this thing. Hey, so I will know that I don't have any rice to cook for my children tomorrow, or I don't have any food in this house. Hey, people are keeping up appearances. Obi wɔ hɔ a obegyina social media so. The last lipstick I wɔ hɔ, the twina no abegyina hɔ hyerɛ pɛɛ.
Jesus. It is only on social media that the people you need to feel sorry for, their pictures is telling another story. I'm telling you, all these are facade. Because you know what? He might have the dress there. This dress that I'm wearing for 2 good years, I've had it. It still fits, so I wear it. 2 years, I've had it. This earring that I'm wearing, Akosia went to LA recently. Akosia Williams went to LA recently, and he saw a jewelry shop. They sell the retail price and a very cheap price, and he bought loads for me so that I'll use it to do my program. This lipstick that you see me put on is because you said it. I'm telling people. This lipstick you see me and the makeup I did. I have a sweetheart called Alethea. Alethea bought me a makeup, a very big makeup. Me, I don't know how to do the makeup, but at least he says, Auntie, because you are doing program, first I need to come very dry. He says, Auntie, I think you should put on a little bit of makeup. I didn't think anything about it. By the time I realized, he had bought me a very big one with lots of lipstick, different types of lipstick. And it so happened that I have red, different colors. So what I'm trying to say is, this thing, and I've got a wig cap, I've wear it very nice. But maybe things are not what it seems it is. And this is how we need to reach out. I'm telling you, Ghanaians know. Said ya pass them. Obi hochine na yenim. Enti se wo twan ama nipa na ba besrewa. Ya na mu owre kakra me ka ne twi mu na ma yenya ye free sa community no mu. Abrofo no mu ni ye COVID bi ba ye. Una wuti abrochi da bisa area wo mo betumi aka se obi encha obroni bi cha pe wo do. Ana charity bi emfa bibi mesi wo do. Ma bisa ho se unkrofo na kita wo kala na dodo se na be cha pe wo do.
No, none. Zero.
And this is what we must learn. This is what I am talking about. A Ghanaian community. You know the people that live in Edmonton, Massachusetts, New Jersey, who were kind of a group will be and I say check out on them. Every crown down for papa. But what it was from them say, no home yet or ninkrata, beside me, I want to send covered him. How are you feeling? Because owning grata means that help in free baby. How is he paying his bills? And a lot of them, I have friends who are in the USA. This is some of the crisis people are going through. But for the fact to say man on one kind of all that I needed is somebody who understands what I'm going through. Enti enye ni nyina niam ni nyina na yeska but adaje nyaman krofo to listen to them is also therapy.
Thank you so much. If you have a last word for anyone about what we've talked about, what would it be?
So to all my fellow Ghanaians who are married in this COVID, especially if you are living with an abusive person, my dear, seek for help. Because with people who are abusive, yeah, the more you are quieter, the more the abuse escalates. Because or show when you back match, the next time we'll go to two. Next time, if you are not one, sorry. You are a young girl, maybe a teenager, you are living with a stepfather. You have started abusing you when your mom goes to work. Look for the anonymous phone numbers and call. Help are there. Now, some of the things, that's why some of the teenagers are not speaking up, especially for those who are from the continent, Germany, Australia. They brought the girls from Ghana or the kids from Ghana, and they brought them to a territory. They don't even understand the language or anything. So the abuse keeps going on. That poor girl does not understand the country they brought her on. Some of you, it is the wife. Portuguese, Italian, shade. The only one I just watched Papa 3 years and 2 years and Sunny Precopamano. 80 and 3 years with abuse in a coso. Now, Obisan who sent me Ghania, free one no more. My dear, who pay free one no more. Now she have police in Libya, now we're explaining, they will get you interpreter. They will get you interpreter, Gratano, and say, I say, although by as a spouse, and abuse are also, and what be a woko piano, yet the bemau. Now, your ma who time out again, whether you still want the marriage or you don't. Ain't you know, a man a wound so say it over, if I won't go. A cobani say, what aqua boy man, yes, it na ya bachana. It is not your business. The akano on the make sure say on rebua. Ebium, those of you Majuma, I say, and now wow, I said the ying of wedding. Begin to look for other crafts to do because Abuan won't kawa won't fain a century. I say, Mama, you're starting developing your home in other trades. Young pen you ma be and ye. Oh, white color job. There's nothing wrong. So we share hairdressing. And now we share the palm craft work. Be a bit generating other income. Now we are in time, sir. One income of pay into me wow.
No.
One income into me wow because when him so would be back no so I bet you so be abusive. When you are value in the relationship is very important. I bet you didn't say the pan better than sabo. Why? Because you have added value. So those of you who does not have value, so who new value be our idea. the tendency is abuse, very hard. Because if dinner one no cry, just a who did the only man. So that uncle end or jollof, and why jollof with you. It will affect you. Shopping, no, the no cordon or better.
Yes.
Now, psychological abuse, no. They be a young uncle say physical abuse, no. Sorry, physical abuse, no. And no one abuse. The abuse, psychological one, the crack is the worst. That physical one, the above now who took away me.
Yeah, people can see it and it dies, but the other one is internal.
Yeah, na eto de bi wo ho a wontumi mfa wo nsensi so kra kan kire wo bi se e ya de ban wo ya wo ye mekasa ntwi ene abrabo bone obi se winter yi ba ye no you cruise metwan ya omo eyi ni ba da san omo slot electricity e ya be san apan timi pie be 3 days no mo da wo omo wo na de obeye wo no wa na abeko enti 3 days no papa ni pie a na ye se wa frefra adofo no ma beto bi agum obeba ni na ebi wom no abetena mu ayusu a eya asan no asan pie. This one should tell you say or your brofo and all these things. Talk about it. Seek help. And mwa wo ho mama yan hye dem na yewu because at the end of the day no wo nkwase ewu e be ye wo nkwase yie no anya nkrofo aba abenom wo nkwase yakon so. This thing I will not stop saying. That me say say me 3 years so ye. Wo nkwase ewu ye besie nkwase asie. Ni abaye wo nkwase yie na ye ba abenom agu nkwase yakon so. Ye wi ani asensi wa. Eni afi bo so wukunu wo yere no aware because emwa wo na so seek helper. When you be ba ho so no wagu. Wo nsusu ye besie. Ye sie wa take away ni ye bere. Abesa nkwase asa. Obi apon ana obi akwa yire so 6 months. Oba na be ma no asan ware. So moma ye hwe covid moma ye mo ya adwene ene eniyama ekoso ya adwene mu ho bane. Ye nwene papa na eniyama papa nsomra ya brabo negatives ne doso. Afa me tumi nya amofo se eniyama bebrai ya sutie no. Emwa negative ne doso. Si ye be fa book bi ahwem, ye be hwe movie bi, bibi e be hye ye nkuran, bibi ade mpuntu obeba. Online courses bebree abu. What na said the etimetina Facebook etie atembidie be 3 hours no. What dey mu one na esua vocational skill bia. E be 3 months 2 months. So when your certificate aka the owo no ho dada. And now we need bia what start pebi egum. Mesra mo. Uma ye yes anyema we na we na South Africa for Nigeria for omo hu dada. Enti ansa na COVID beba no. Obi wo hane ne ye adwuma ye nurse nso alatani bia ni treye alatani bia ni madepam alatani bia wo bibi or second income ti COVID say besi say be no a wan we some mo de omo Facebook na ade ne tonton tade ne nso ade ne ade Ghana for do saying enye ntokwa obi asem na aba enyema e good content na ebeboa no kura say nyema ye kensi profo nyina so Ghana for meti enso de ye ken and nke fa blabo no and now we can relate and for beguso now
yes
enti mama yen start and shift ya adwen free negativity no ho kakra na yen start and for ya adwen mra niema e bon puntu ba ya bra bobu no yen escalate enumum yen peja enumum yen peja na yen to enumum enkosoro na emoaye na minhira mo.
Sister, oh, you are just amazing. We have to do this again soon. I hope we can organize and do this again. I'm more fade dear. Chai. Edinburgh, dear. Scotland, I'm more fade dear.
No, some me back for training. Duku no start. Now, was me back for training because me am the what you couldn't far home, man. So, me go and come about go be boy me far, but me am not.
God bless you so much, my darling. Thank you for being here. You blessed us so much. I hope that people would actually take the things that my sister has said very seriously and to heart. Don't just listen to this, whatever, and brush it aside. And if you think you're so knowledgeable, you know all of this, you don't need any of what we said. You just might know somebody who does without even knowing. Share this video, share it. So other people who need to hear this would hear it. We're all suffering. It's all painful for everybody. But like my sister, I really believe that there are better days ahead for all of us.
Absolutely. There are better, trust me. I mean,
God bless you too.
God bless you too, sweetheart.
Sika educate, yeah, what Facebook, YouTube, and Insta. Sika educate, yeah, Casafa, Abumde, our real impunto. Sika educate, or don't come up, run, yeah, who are true. Sika educate, Unyane, baby, Sika educate. It's like you page, you know, I am vibe. But more than YouTube, ho, subscribe it. Sika educate is the name. All our man them source and they come from. Inspiration, motivation, Wapomuden, education. Wafranada, when it's here, or don't come or Ekusika deba. Wafranada, Bema, Jai, or don't come or Ekusika deba. Sika educate, yeah, what Facebook, YouTube, and Insta. Sika educate, yeah, Casafa, Abumde, our real impunto. Sika educate, or don't come